My name's Todd Blake. I'm the Executive Director at ParkView Community Mission, and I've been here 2 years now. I came from Madison Heights Baptist Church. I was the pastor there for almost 11 years. Coming here, it's been an opportunity to put into practice at least what I hope were some of my best sermons in those years that I was preaching, to do that every day, just to get to know people who are experiencing food insecurity, unemployment, homelessness, and to help address those needs or empower staff and volunteers to address those needs in really holistic ways that really highlight the dignity of the neighbors that we're serving. One of the things that I love about ParkView is that it started with a United Methodist Congregation's choir having a meal together, and a neighbor came to the door who was hungry, and that choir invited him in to share around the table with them. They didn't just send him on his way with a plate of food, but brought him in to just share around the table, and that really started what became ParkView Community Mission. And along the way, it turned into a food pantry, recognizing that those neighbors needed food more than just Wednesday night dinner. And so a food pantry, a rack of clothes over in the corner became the clothing connection. And so now we're at the point at ParkView where we have 6 programs. We still have that meal every Wednesday night. We call it ParkView Cafe. We have our food pantry that is open twice a week for neighbors to come through and select food for themselves. We call it neighbor choice. They're coming through and shopping for themselves. So instead of us handing them a box of food that they may or may not be able to use, they can come through and select the food that works for their family. I believe that is a better way for us to love our neighbor, by offering them that choice. We use the word neighbor here a lot because it implies that sense of relationship, not neighbor just about proximity, but about relationship. You know, that sense of loving our neighbor, of doing unto our neighbor as we would want done unto ourselves is really, I mean, it's the most kind of universally accepted theological premise, you know, across culture. We have the clothing connection, a clothing closet where they can come and again shop for free items, and they can come through and they're treated with dignity as they go through and find clothing that works for them. We have our community resource center, so if a neighbor of ours is facing eviction, they have an eviction notice. If they have notice of a utility being cut off, or if they're homeless and trying to navigate getting into shelter, that's a hard process. And so our Community Resource Center helps them to navigate those cutoffs, eviction notices, and getting into shelter. And then we have our Life Skills Institute. So we are, providing personal and career education for our neighbors. So many of our neighbors that are trying to get back into the workforce, we provide the soft skills and in some cases the kind of specific job skills to be able to get back into the workforce. Just in 2023, through August, so January to August, we saw 51 of our neighbors re-enter the workforce. And so that is 51 lives that are changing and transforming, 51 families that are changing and becoming more self-sufficient. Those 51 neighbors, some of them are working part-time, some are working full-time, but if you factor in the average wage that they're earning and those that are working part-time and full-time, they will earn over $1 million in wages over the course of 12 months. And that's numbers that transform, cities and economies too. And so we believe our neighbors are worth the investment. It's good for them. It's also good for all of us to invest in these neighbors because these neighbors are then investing in our community that we all live in. And then we have Food for Thought. So Food for Thought is providing weekend nutrition for students in Lynchburg City schools and some schools in surrounding counties. Students in our elementary schools and preschools, they're going to go home on the weekend with a bag of food they can take home and cook at home. And so those are our 6 programs, and through that we're able to serve a lot of people, but we're also able to serve, I think, in a way that tries to touch the whole person. We're grateful for Thomas Road's part in what we do. We get lots of groups that come from Thomas Road to several different programs that we have here. And we're heavily dependent on volunteers. It takes about 2,000 volunteer hours every month to do what we do here at ParkView. And so for a congregation of Thomas Road size, for a number of people from that congregation to commit to providing a meal on Wednesday night or, packing bags, sorting items over at our warehouse at Food for Thought is really impactful. And so there's really a mutuality about investing in our neighbors and believing that they are worth that investment. Each one of them, they are someone that is created in the image of God. And so I believe whether it's providing them food or helping them find the confidence to go for that job interview, that we are investing in someone who God loves, that God has created in His image. And so that's our small part in that. And when congregations want to come alongside us and be a part of that as well, it's all the better.